welcome to my channel. For anyone who doesn't know me, my name is Kaelie. I'm a licensed esthetician in Fredericksburg, Virginia, and I've actually been wanting to start a YouTube channel for a long time. People have been telling me for years that I should, and I just haven't gotten up the courage until now. And it's still kind of scary because I'm aware I have a bad background. I'm sitting on my bathroom floor. I'm using my phone to record, but I needed to just start and improve as I go. So I just wanted to start out by telling you about me and my story. So I'm a makeup artist. I've been a makeup artist for 5 years. I have my own business. It's called Kaelie Cosmetic Artistry if you want to check me out on social media. So I mostly do freelancing, so I go around to wedding venues and do makeup for the bride and the whole bridal party. So I started that business in my last year of high school when I was 17, and now I've been doing it for 5 years. So the makeup that I do is primarily on weekends because weddings are usually on Saturdays only, and of course I needed a job during the week. So a few years ago, I was working at a spa as a receptionist, and I would talk to the esthetician there, and I was really interested in skincare, and I thought her job seemed like so much fun. I've always been interested in skincare. Any products I would have, I would read the back, and I wanted to know what those ingredients on the label meant because they're so long and confusing. It looks very scientific. It looks like a whole other language. So I always wanted to know what I was actually putting on my face because most of us just don't know. And I was really interested in that. And on top of that, I've always been really good at science when I was in school. Plus, I've always had an issue with the thought of a regular full-time 9-to-5 job. 5 days a week, and I know most people aren't okay with that, but I mean, I strongly have always felt in my core like that's just not right. That's all your life being taken away from you just so that you can have 2 days a week where you can actually live. So I've always just wanted a job that I enjoyed, first of all, because then at least when you're there, you're doing something you like. And secondly, one that has some flexibility, one that lets you express yourself and specialize in what you like to do. Several years back, I was doing online college classes, just the general education classes that you need in the beginning, because I didn't know what I wanted to do as a main career. I didn't know what I wanted to major in, so I just decided, I guess I'll major in business because it's so general, and I didn't know what specifically I wanted to do. I thought about the esthetician that I met at that spa when I was a receptionist, and I realized I wanted to be an esthetician myself. So I decided to enroll in school. I started January of 2020 and I graduated July of 2020. After I graduated in July, I went to state board and got my license in August. School was pretty rough because obviously it was 2020, so I started in January, and then by February we had to do online classes, and that lasted for 3 months. It was really hard missing out on that hands-on, and I feel like as it is, in esthetician school you don't learn enough. You don't get to practice as much hands-on as I would like to. I know most estheticians feel the same way. And then on top of that, just being restricted to online classes 3 days a week. When I was in school, I enjoyed it so much. I loved learning, and I always wanted to learn more. I feel when you're in aesthetic school, it's all very basic. It's really just learning the basics. It's kind of very vague. So we would learn about ingredients and what different types of issues they work to address. And I would always think, okay, well, why? So for example, like salicylic acid. Salicylic acid is good for acne. If that was the statement that I was reading, I would think, okay, well, why? The answer is, well, it helps reduce oil production. Okay, why does it do that? Why? How? So I ever since I graduated, I've been continuously learning more, looking for every resource I can. I've been learning from estheticians online, listening to podcasts every single time I drive. Now in my job, I've gotten so much hands-on, and I can honestly say I've definitely learned so much more in real life as working as an esthetician than I did in school by far. You just have to, I think it's really good as an esthetician to be really curious, always wanting to know more. Why does this work instead of this works? Because for one thing, you want to know exactly what you're doing because you're working with all kinds of skin types. For another thing, a lot of times you have really curious clients, so they want to know why something works, and you want to be the one that can be able to tell them because you're the expert that they're coming to see. So once I got my license, I got a job very shortly after in October at a spa in King George, and that's just a very, very rural area. Also, everyone who works there is a booth renter, meaning that they're kind of their own independent business. So it's kind of like they're a freelancer in a way, but they only work there, if that makes sense. So they're not an actual employee, they're kind of their own business. And when you're a booth renter, you really have to have already had a clientele built up to be successful. And I was newly out of school, so I did not have that. So I was getting hardly anybody. I would have like maybe 2 facials a week. So it just wasn't working. Nothing against that spa. I really like it there. That's actually the spa where I was saying that I worked as a receptionist several years back. So I definitely like it there. It just wasn't working for me. It was my fault for, starting out in a rural area for one thing. There's just not as much traffic there to get clients in the first place, but also since I was newly out of school, I didn't have that client base already built up. So then very end of December, I started working at Hand and Stone in Fredericksburg, and I love it there. It was actually a total accident that I started working there. I was going around that day to all different spas in the area. I had gone to like 10 because I was looking for somewhere that would apprentice me for my master's license. So if you're not in Virginia and you're watching this, you might be wondering, what do you mean master's license? So with estheticians, there are 5 states in the US where you have an esthetician license and a master esthetician's license. So if you're not in one of those 5 states and you went to esthetician school and you're a licensed esthetician, you can do everything, like modalities and everything, meaning like microdermabrasion, peels, dermaplaning. That's not the case for us, which is super unfortunate having to go to school twice. But if you're in Virginia, Washington, Oregon, Utah, or Washington, D.C., you have to go to school again for your master's license to do any modalities. So what I can do right now are facials, of course, waxing. That's about it. I'm gonna have to go back to school to learn peels, microderm. That really stinks, but at the same time, it's kind of cool to say master esthetician. So I was out on the town looking for somewhere to apprentice me just because I didn't want to pay to go to school all over again because it's so expensive. But I was having no luck, and I had already been told people don't really apprentice people anymore for their master's license. It's really, really hard to find a place that's willing to do that. But I gave it a shot anyway. I made a list, and that morning I just went out to all the spas on my list in the area in Fredericksburg, and I had been turned down everywhere I went. I was feeling really discouraged. I was tired. I just wanted to go home. And then the last one on my list was Hand and Stone. So I was thinking, oh, I'm tired. I don't want to waste my time. I should just call and ask, do you take apprentices? And if they do, I'll come in and talk to them. If they don't, I'll just go home. So I called and asked, and the manager answered, and she said, we don't necessarily train apprentices, but we do have another opportunity for you if you want to come in right now. So I came in, and they really needed an esthetician badly, immediately, so On the spot. We did an interview and they hired me, and it was just such an exciting turn of events. So even though I didn't get what I was out looking for that day, I got something just as good. I just couldn't believe that I went out that day with no intention of getting a job, and it just happened for me that way. So I felt like I was really meant to go out that day. It's just so weird when things like that happen, because it's like, oh my gosh, imagine if I decided to just stay in bed that day, because I was off that day. And at first I was thinking, well, I could go out today, but I could also go out a different day this week. So I feel like if any little thing had changed, I might not have gotten that job. I was also really surprised that they were willing to hire me, because in those 5 states I talked about that have the master esthetician license available, generally most of those spas will only hire you if you already are a master, because a lot of clients want those modalities, understandably. So a lot of people want to get dermaplane, peels, microdermabrasion. I was so happy that they took me without me being a master. Since it's such a big company and there's so many locations, they really keep us booked up. They have a membership program. I've gotten so much more hands-on experience there. I feel so confident in my abilities now. What I also like is they don't have a non-compete policy, so I have the freedom. I'm not as restricted. I hate being restricted or told, like, you can only work at this place. I could actually work at another spa at the same time, but I wouldn't because they keep me busy enough. Or I could even have my own business where I offer facials out of my home, or if I got my own suite one day. They also let me specialize, and I think that's really important as an esthetician, because we learn various things in school. So we learn facials, of course, body treatments, waxing, lash lifts and tints, makeup. So for me, I only care about skincare. Obviously I care about makeup, but that's in my separate business. As far as me being an esthetician, all I care about is skin. I'll like wax eyebrows or a lip or a chin, but we actually, at my school, since we were shut down for COVID for a while, we missed so much hands-on, like I said, so I didn't learn much body waxing. So I don't feel confident enough to do it, and I quite frankly don't care about it. I don't want to do it. Wax frustrates me because you can spin the stick over and over and over after dipping in the pot, and you still get those strings everywhere. It makes me mad. I just don't like it. But I have a coworker that's so good at it. She's highly qualified, so I give waxing to her. I mainly leave that to her. And I just love that they allow us to do that, because some estheticians like doing it all. Most don't. Most find what they like to do. Some of them decide they really want to focus on lashes and take an additional course to do lash extensions. Or some really like waxing and want to focus on that, or body treatments, but I only care about skincare. As much as I love the relaxation part of skincare, I love giving the massage. I do a really thorough massage, and I think it's super important to the experience for the client, how relaxing it is. My main focus is results. I really want to find out in the consultation what their issue is and come up with a routine to fix it. I love recommending home care, because somebody put it in a really great way for me. They said getting facials and not keeping up on a good home care regimen is like going to a personal trainer once a month and then never working out on your own. That is so true. It's kind of like 80% of your results are going to come from what you do day in and day out at home, and then about 20% will come from your esthetician. It's still important to get monthly facials, because your cell turnover rate is about 28 days approximately, so your skin will be different by that point, and estheticians can offer services that you just can't do for yourself at home. You'll get thorough extractions, more resurfacing, more powerful ingredients that only we're able to use because they're professional use only. But listening to the advice of an esthetician and taking home those products that they recommend is really important, because that's the way that you will get the best results if you're really serious about improving something about your skin. As much as I love doing facials, my ultimate goal is actually to work for a dermatologist in a doctor's office. Specifically, I would like to hopefully assist with some surgeries, and I want to be a paramedical esthetician. Essentially, I would prep patients for surgery and then take care of their skin post-surgery. I mostly want to focus on victims of burns or accidents who need reconstructive surgery. So I could also teach them camouflage makeup techniques to hide redness or scars. Since I'm so curious and always want to learn more, I feel like I never get enough information about skincare. I feel like working under a doctor is right for me without becoming a dermatologist, because that's just too much school for me. It's 12 to 14 years. So that would be all of my 20s and some of my 30s. It's a lot of money to go to school for that long. Otherwise, I would just be a dermatologist, because that's really how interested I am in the skin. But I would love to be a medical esthetician. I'm hoping that will happen in a few years from now, but I am more than happy to be doing facials at Hand and Stone right now. I've had some people ask me how they can make an appointment with me. So all you would do is Google Hand and Stone Fredericksburg, call them and ask to set up a facial with Kaelie. I can actually leave the phone number in the description. I recently had someone with acne come in, and she had been so desperate to find an esthetician. She was just so focused on results. I essentially spent the whole facial doing extractions for her, because that's all she cared about. So I'm more than happy to address any range of concerns, whether you just want to relax or you really want help and results. So I just want to thank you so much for watching my first video. I'm going to be making a lot, and I would love if you would DM me on Instagram or comment below if you want me to talk about anything in particular, whether it's if you have a question about a certain brand, ingredients, certain skin types, how to address acne, sensitive skin, anything. So thank you so much for watching. You can follow me on Instagram at SDKale. I'll put that down below as well. You can also follow my business page for my makeup artistry, which is KR Cosmetic Artistry. Please subscribe, like this video, share it, comment, and thank you so much for watching. I'll see you soon.